You're listening to the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, where a group of nobodies speak to an actual somebody. And now your hosts, John and Frank.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm John.
I'm Frank.
And you're listening to the Nothing Podcast.
With Nobody Important.
Oh, baby, this is the one.
We say it every time, but this literally is the biggest one. I am talking so fast because I want you to hear this episode.
Tonight is Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve?
Tonight.
Yeah.
And we wanted to interview somebody with the most unique, most special, most important job on Christmas Eve.
He's been coming into your house every December 24th since you were a little kid.
Yeah, and we're not talking about your stepdad. It's...
It's
Santa Claus. Oh, man, the real deal.
This is the real deal. We want to be clear. We want to preface this. This is not an actor playing Santa Claus.
Nope.
We actually got in touch with Santa Claus's people.
Yep.
And he's Skyping in from the North Pole.
He got on the horn with us, and he told us everything we wanted to know. He answered all our questions. He played all our games.
Yeah, and we grilled him.
Oh, yeah, and we made it a little hard for him, I think.
I think we did. So just start listening to this episode right now. It's the morning. This is when it's premiering. It is December 24th. You have about a day until it's the real big day. Get into the Christmas mood. Put this thing in your ears. You have to listen to this.
Oh, absolutely. So let's get him in here.
Okay. You might know him as Saint Nicholas,
Saint Nick,
Kris Kringle,
Peltznickel,
or Saint Nicolaus.
even Papa Noel.
So let's do it.
We're bringing him in.
Well, hello there. I go by many names, but you know me best as Santa Claus. Yeah.
All right, Frank, so we are here. I can't even believe it.
The inner child in me is freaking out right now.
Yeah, because we have a guest who you don't have no idea how hard it was to get this guy nailed down today, especially.
And how did you even get his phone number?
Top secret.
I guess.
Here he is, our old friend Saint Nick.
Yeah, Santa Claus is with us on the phone from the North Pole.
Well, hello there.
There he is.
Hello. Oh, do you mind if I call you Nick?
Oh, that's perfectly fine. Most of my friends do.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to say most of your friends call you Santa. Just his first name, on a first name basis.
Well, my close friends call me Nick.
Got it.
So,
Short for St. Nicholas, of course.
Oh, naturally. I want to preface this with you have a guest in there with you. There's a little bird in the background. Tell us a little about that bird there.
Well, you know, Mrs. Claus is very fond of animals. And we have a little dog as well named Sunny. But very recently, she surprised me adding this little white parakeet to our family.
I love it.
And she is a white parakeet, and her name is Snowbell.
Snowbell. That's so cute. And I find it curious that she picked the one bird not in the 12 Days of Christmas.
Indeed. Well, you know, it's very hard to domesticate the partridge and the turtle dove.
Yeah,
Of course.
Absolutely.
Santa, how did the reindeers get along with this bird?
Well, of course, they're all out in the pen. And the bird is in here in the cozy living room by the fireplace with us.
Oh,
So it's the reindeers who are jealous of the bird.
I guess
then.
so.
You know, they do get jealous when I talk to other animals. They think that, you know, all of my... they're kind of like dogs in that way.
So
you know,
Santa,
you talk to another animal, they're like, no, you should be paying attention to me.
Right.
yeah, no, of course. So you can speak with animals.
Oh, yes, of course.
Is that a thing?
Yes, animals are very instinctual. They know, even when I'm out, you know, as a civilian in disguise, well, you've seen Miracle on 34th Street,
Sure,
you know.
you were great.
And animals seem to instinctually know that it's me, and they know that I love them, and they always respond.
That's amazing. Well, that's why we brought Joe here into the show today, because we figured you'd be able to commune with him.
Yeah, that's literally what I was going to say.
I'm sorry, I haven't spoken. I'm just really nervous.
Joe, do you celebrate Christmas?
I do.
I
get
good.
that a lot, but I do celebrate Christmas.
Because if you didn't, you were going out in the rain.
As I should.
So Santa, this is a big day for you, December 24th.
It is indeed. It is the culmination of a long year of lots of hard work in preparation.
Sure.
Yes.
Have you been carb loading, like so you can nail this and have the energy for this big night?
Oh, I carb load every day. It's nothing to worry about there. It's an ongoing process.
Right, I was going to say, what are your weight maintaining tips? Because you know, people always ask about weight losing or gaining. You seem to maintain pretty well.
I do indeed. Well, see, I do not recommend my dietary practices are not fit for mortals. You see, I have been granted through powers that even I don't quite understand. Immortality. You do realize that I am 1,749 years old.
Oh my God. I didn't realize that.
Wow.
I was born in 270 A.D. in a place that no longer exists, actually. Back when I was born in this location, a place called Patera was in Asia Minor, which you now know as present-day Turkey.
Wow. So really you should be a Thanksgiving guy.
Oh, indeed.
That's so sad.
But at a certain point in my old age, I passed on to the next level. I joined what we might call pure positive energy, as it were. For some people, that's passing on. But in my case, I was granted a sense of certain magical ability, and along with that came immortality.
Wow.
So I'm able to eat all of those cookies and drink all of that milk and the mince pies and the various things that people leave me, and of course all the candy that the elves live on, and I don't have to worry about things like heart disease and high cholesterol. But again, I really don't recommend that for you mortals. Eat your greens, go to the gym. Don't do what I do.
Sure. Santa, this is a question that I have. So when you were a boy in Turkey, I guess, did you have a favorite... Why is that funny?
It's just funny.
It's funny.
When he was a boy in
Turkey, as you were.
Yeah. Well, of course, again, back then it was Asia Minor.
Asia Minor.
Specifically in a region called Mira.
Wow. Okay, so within Mira.
Did you have a favorite toy?
Well, of course, back then there were wooden toys.
Yes.
Sure.
And
Melissa and Doug.
There was, I distinctly remember, I had a wooden carving of a donkey that I loved very dearly, and I used to play with that a lot. Yes, and that started my affinity for carving wooden toys myself. And most of my earliest toys were of animals. So of course, at the time, that we didn't have vehicles, had not been created. So, I wasn't making toy trains and things like that.
And Hess trucks.
Sure.
No Hess trucks.
But you come from a making toy background then? Yourself?
Yes, it started really as a hobby of mine. Originally, my gift giving was not specifically centered on children and toys. I would give away a lot of money to people in need, and I did a lot of good deeds for people that needed help. I was particularly fond of helping children, and I became known as the patron saint of children, and decided to put my focus there. And that's when I really started applying my wood carving and my toy making skills. And there you have it.
That's pretty incredible. So did you teach... Now, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, because I don't even know where they came from. But, so did you teach the elves generally the P's and Q's of toy making? Or you kind of passed that knowledge on in a different way?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. But these turns out that elves have a natural affinity for that sort of thing. And not only did they catch on very quickly, but they soon took off with it. And almost in some ways exceeded some of them what I'm capable of doing. It was quite incredible. And then they, in turn, passed it on to all of their children and following generations.
It's a pretty incredible business you got going on there.
Yeah, it really is.
You've cornered the market on holiday gift giving. Really, you've monopolized this.
I feel like I want to laugh with you because when you, it's just such an infectious laugh.
Can you teach us to laugh, Santa?
Yeah, teach us how to hope.
Well, yeah. So you need to get your full belly into it. You familiar with the diaphragm?
Sure.
Easy for me.
The diaphragm is a muscle that sits under your lungs and separates your rib cage and your lungs from your tummy and all your guts down there, you see. Okay. And this is what facilitates breathing, is that muscle. As a matter of fact, when you get the hiccups, it is a spasming of the diaphragm muscle. So you want to feel that belly, those muscles deep down in your abdomen, right? And get down into your chest voice and give it a good big belly laugh.
Wow. All right, let's try it. Frank, you try it. Okay.
I feel like a moron.
bad.
Not bad. Joe,
This is
Joe, give it a go.
This is a lot of pressure.
Joe, and look us right in the eyes while you do it. No, my God,
Joe's
no.
coughing up the blood.
Santa, do you have an asthma
There's a
pump
little
for
bit of
Joe?
goofy mixed in with that one.
I'm sorry, Santa. I can't do you justice.
Danielle, you give it a try.
That's
Danielle, you're
all right.
known for your laugh.
Yeah.
Danielle's got a distinct laugh of her own.
Oh, look, the bird's going off already.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Okay.
Oh, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
That was great. That's so good.
Pretty good.
John?
Well, let's go with Tom.
Oh, Tom.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that was
Way
like
to blow out the sound.
That had some power behind it.
that was like Al Pacino as Santa.
Oh, okay, ready? I'm going to go. Ready?
Yeah, you got it.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, not bad.
A little terror behind the laugh.
A little mischievous.
Here's the thing. The real trick is it needs to be honest. You need to be
That's-
really laughing.
That's what we were all missing.
Right. That's true. It has to come from the heart.
Yeah. Well, here at the
And that's why it's infectious. Joy and laughter really is infectious.
I believe that.
Santa, what do you and Mrs. Claus have to say during pillow talk?
Oh, we really get into it.
Well, that's between me and Mrs.
Right.
Claus.
I don't think he means adult pillow talk.
No,
I
no,
think he
no.
just means when you lay down at night.
Yeah, you're tired.
gotta
What do you
just-
talk about?
Let's just what comes up. What's the general everyday conversation?
Right.
Oh, it's very much the usual thing, I think, between a husband and a wife.
Right. Gossip about the neighbors.
daily, the
Right.
daily ongoings. Of course, we happen to be in the position of basically running a kind of a business together.
Sure.
Right. That's true.
And so, we talk about our concerns of what's going on and how we're doing with preparations and what still needs to be done. And, sometimes there's drama among the elves because, the workplace environment. And, we try not to get too bogged down in that because it can't be all about that. Either.
Of course,
We need to connect with each other, too. And, what's on our minds. And we try to take time together to do things that are not related to Christmas and the Christmas preparations. We like to meditate, and
Wow.
we like to
here's some Asian
travel
minor.
and go places, and
Yeah.
So we talk about the very typical hopes and dreams and what's on our mind, husband and wife kind of thing.
Sure, regular. So, but now, if your wife, Mrs. Claus, is anything like my wife, Danielle, she enjoys when I'm out of the house for a little while. She gets the run. Now, that for you happens only one night a year. So when you're out late at
Well,
night, Mrs.
actually,
Claus is going to be watching like
there's
Orange is
so
the New Black
much-
on Netflix or something, and she's going to be like kicking back.
Actually, Mrs. Claus is a lot more type A than I am.
Okay.
So she doesn't like to sit still for too long. And we don't see a lot of each other during the day because there's so much to do. There's so many aspects to this, Christmas toy empire, basically, that we've created at this point. That we're always, one of us is somewhere dealing with one or another aspect of what we do, whether it's a particular, toy section or dealing with the sleigh, the reindeer, general elf life in the village, maintenance of the workshop or our castles in the North Pole.
It's a lot. A castle, a reindeer, elves.
It's a lot. Santa, have you ever had to fire an elf?
We don't really fire elves.
Because where are they going to go?
I would say that we repurpose them.
This sounds
like that.
sinister.
Yeah. So
Well, no, it's really not as sinister as it sounds. It simply means that we will find something else,
Something
for
they're
that
good at,
elf to
right.
do
So
if
you say
they're not a good fit for where they're supposed to be.
Okay.
I wish my last job thought of it that way.
right. Joe just got repurposed himself. No,
Did.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? There really aren't too many jobs for elves out there, and I can't turn them out into the cold on their own.
That's true.
Up in the North Pole, I would never do that. And elves by nature are very loving, very generous, very kind creatures.
Right, sure.
And so, I want to take care of all of my elves. Now, true, they're all different, and some are skilled in different ways than others, and so we try to figure out where they best fit in as a cog in this great machine of ours, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and so we'll try them in a different area. If they don't do well at toy making, maybe we move them to wrapping. Or if they're really good engineers, then maybe we move them to, general workshop maintenance or the sleigh, which is a lot more high tech these days.
Right, okay. Right. They have to you need the smart elves for that. Yeah, Tom, you had a question?
Indeed. Oh, yes.
So, Santa, with all of kids dealing with technology now, everyone's got iPads and dealing with apps. What do you guys do? Is your business transitioning to the electronic side? Like, what's your next move for this empire?
Oh, we already have. We already have. A long time ago, with all the different creations that have come about, we had Walkmans and even record players and cassette tapes. I mean, ever since then, we've had requests for electronics and mechanical devices.
Of course. You can't just be giving out wooden horses anymore.
Right.
No,
wooden donkeys don't cut it.
Right.
Yeah, we don't really get too many requests for toy soldiers and wooden horses anymore.
I'll wait until this year.
Now, we used to manufacture these things ourselves. The elves are very gifted at replicating things. And so basically we recreate whatever someone asks for and, complete with the logos and everything. You have absolutely no way of telling the difference between an elf-made Apple product and an actual-made Apple product. Except that the elf product will probably last a little longer.
How many times a day do lawyers show up at your door, Santa, serving you
Well,
papers?
you see, they'd have to find us first.
Sorry, Santa, I'm curious. So are you happy that Toys R Us is gone? Were they cutting into your sales? Or how about that giraffe? Like, do you guys have a poster on your wall with darts thrown at it? Like, what's the story with that?
Not at all. I appreciate all the help that I can get. Because even with what I have, it's still very difficult with the giant population of the world today to accomplish everything by ourselves. And I've always looked at other toy makers and manufacturers as being part of my helpers out there in the world. They're there to spread the joy and to make children happy as well. Now, sometimes some of their policies may be a little misguided, but I'm still glad they're there. So, no, I would say that I'm not happy about the loss of Toys R Us. I would say that was a sad occasion. It's always a sad occasion to lose a toy store. I was really disappointed in the closing of FAO Schwartz, which carried on my tradition for many years as an icon of New York City. Sure. I'm very, very happy to see that it has reopened in its new location.
Yes, with a new soldier who you can hear 2 episodes ago on the Nothing Podcast. He sat down with us.
Oh, marvelous!
Yes.
You must know Johnny Tamaro.
Yeah, you have to know him.
Of course I do. Well, he is a good boy.
What's your nickname for Johnny Tamaro?
Well, to me, he'll always be Little Johnny.
Okay,
of course. Me too.
Santa, it's time for our first game. So this
I love games.
Yes, you're going to love this one.
So this is a rating game, Santa. So we're going to name some things for you to rate however you want to rate them, okay?
Yeah, I mean, with whatever scale you so choose. So what's an opinion? What's an option for a scale?
Cookies?
How many cookies would you give it? How about that? What's your favorite kind of cookie? Just off.
Well, I really like just about any combination of chocolate and peanut butter. So
Oh.
if you give me some peanut butter cup cookies or peanut butter cookies with chocolate chips in them. Oh, fresh
making
out of
you
the
those
oven,
this
warm
year.
and gooey. There's nothing
Tonight.
like it.
I want some now.
I love that.
All right, so let's rate it in cookies.
Okay,
so
we're
out
gonna
of
rate
10
this in
cookies.
Okay, yes, out of 10.
How about out of 5?
Okay, out of 5. Okay, here we go. So, Santa, we're going to have you rate the following holidays. Okay?
Okay.
Because you are an icon of the Christmas season.
Sure.
So, Santa,
Okay.
please rate in cookies Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, well, I'd have to give that 5 cookies.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Because that man stood for so much of what I believe in as far as love and fairness and justice for all of mankind.
Great. How about Flag Day?
Flag Day, I don't feel like it's as important, you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So much fighting has come from border lines
That's
and
true.
flags and which country's better than that. It's okay to have pride in where you're from, but I just don't think it's as important. So I'll say, two cookies.
Okay,
That's fair. That's fair.
Very good. This is a very specific one. How about Brooklyn Queens Day?
Brooklyn Queens Day.
Yes.
Now, not really a holiday.
No, it's a holiday in this
No.
house because I'm from Brooklyn and Danielle's from Queens.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Indeed. Oh, yes. Tell me something. Now, this is a holiday that people come out and celebrate together. Yes,
You're off from school.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are off from school.
you're off. That's it.
I think so.
I think
Yes.
so. I think nobody else celebrates.
So you don't have like festivals in the streets where people come together and do things.
I wish.
No.
Yeah. So
Well, in that case, I just have to give that one cookie.
that's fair. I'd even
If
give
it-
it that.
If it actually brought people together to create a sense of community and unity and joy, then I'd rate it higher.
Okay. This one, it's not really a one-day holiday. Ramadan.
Oh, certainly. Well, that's you got to give that the full props to the 5.
I
cookies.
think so too, especially with the 5 cookies because it's all about fasting. So they need all the
Yeah.
cookies.
So you give it no cookies, but really you mean to give it 5 cookies.
Right.
You want to make sure you eat those 5 cookies before the holiday starts.
Exactly.
Right. Or after.
Make sure that you have 5 more waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's one that might be a bit of a competition for you. Easter.
Oh, Easter. Well, of course, I've got to give that 5 cookies out of fairness,
Sure. That bunny is a
yeah.
tough cookie himself.
Absolutely.
Oh, have you met?
The Easter Bunny and I go way back. He's a very good friend, and again, this is about something that is promoting. Easter's really about hope. I think is the heart of what Easter is about, and that's so important. We need hope more than ever these days, I think.
Sure.
And is the Easter Bunny soft?
Oh, he is silky soft. Yes.
Perfect.
That's amazing. Okay, we only got 2 more. Pi Day, like P-I, like Pi Day, like the holiday.
Oh, the mathematical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hardly to call it a holiday, but I'm with you on that one.
Well, it's something that is very useful, and certainly my elves need to use their
Right.
mathematical
That's true.
skills and equations, and celebrating that sort of mathematical and scientific intelligence, I think is very important, especially these days where it tends to be downplayed and sometimes even criticized by certain people and politicians who shall remain nameless and on the naughty list.
Of course.
The naughty list.
So I'll give it 3. We'll
Okay.
give Pi Day 3.
Pi Day 3.
Okay. And the final one here, Santa. What do you think about Festivus for the rest of us?
Festivus for the rest of us. Well, I must confess, I don't really understand it.
Okay.
Okay.
But if it brings people together and gives them some kind of sense of joy, I'll throw it 3. Why not?
Well, in Festivus, you put up just a pole in your house and you air your grievances.
Right.
That's the problem. Santa has no grievances.
Oh,
Okay.
that doesn't sound very
It's not.
warming and giving.
But you do
no.
get together to do it.
Yeah, but does it create a sense of love and
No,
and
No,
connection?
definitely not.
Not at all.
No.
Oh well, in that case, I'm going to say maybe no cookies.
No,
Okay.
Festivus, get out of here. That's great. So I gotta ask, in this time that we're living in, are you afraid that tonight, when you make the rounds, you're gonna get a lot of vegan cookies and a lot of oat milk and like
Well, I appreciate them all.
right. But maybe you put
I
the
do.
vegan cookies in the back pocket
I have a
for the
very,
deer.
very developed palate.
Sure.
And I appreciate them all.
Right.
But you get extra excited when you walk over and you see the peanut butter.
right. Yeah.
I do indeed. Well, there's a difference between, sometimes there are ones that I might take like a little bite out of, just out of, obligation to let the child know that I was there and
Sure.
I had a bite of cookie. But, if it's something like peanut butter and chocolate, well, I'm going to eat the whole thing.
But if the cookie's bad, you never like break a piece off and give it to the dog in the house?
I'm going to plead the fifth in the United States.
Well, so this has got to be a tough night for you. Like you're out there doing the thing. You're hitting all the houses. I mean, you got to carry all these gifts on your back at least, or wherever from the sleigh. I don't know how it works from the sleigh. I guess down the chimney. Do you have a plan for like tomorrow? Do you have like the elves are setting up the ice bath at home? Do you have the reindeer like dance on your back or something like that? I mean, that's got to get tough on the old muscles.
Actually, self-care, or as we call it in the North Pole, elf care.
Elf care, sure.
Elf care. For
So
sure.
that one coming a mile away, Santa.
It is very, very important. And so, yes, typically after Christmas Eve, I will come back and I'll hit the hot tub and I'll take a nice long sleep. And then the next day will involve some, massage. I do love that hot stone massage. Oh, that's
sure,
good
of
stuff. And meditation. And we like to have a nice, quiet, peaceful Christmas.
That's nice.
Me and the missus.
Yeah, sit around the table. I'm sure the elves are having some crazy party while you guys are having a nice dinner. Those elves are out there hitting the nog pretty hard. I imagine.
It's a little insane. 'Cause, they're celebrating the end of their year of hard work and another successful year. So
Sure.
I would say there's a fair amount of elf partying going on Christmas Day. But don't forget, it's also a time for family for them. And their Christmas
that's
is
true.
not altogether that different from everyone else's Christmas in terms of spending time with the family and exchanging gifts and having dinner together and family and friends and that sort of thing.
Well, I gotta, but and Frank has a question, but I gotta ask. I've wondered this for a long time, and I promise you they're not gonna hear this. Which reindeer is really the favorite?
Well,
I mean, I won't tell.
I don't really. Santa doesn't play favorites.
Of course.
I don't really have favorites, but I will say that Dasher was my first reindeer, and of course he is she because my reindeer are female. She was my first reindeer, and of course is the original leader of my team.
Right.
And for that reason, she'll always hold a very special place in my heart.
That's fair.
Differently from how I care for my other reindeer. Now, of course, Rudolph, very special and very unique, and once upon a time, saved Christmas for me.
Yeah.
And has been there for me to guide me through the murkiest storms that they can dish up. Also very helpful to alert the lots of air traffic as to where I am.
Oh, sure, of course.
The nose. Santa, not to be
Yeah.
too morose here, But in the event one of your reindeer die mid-flight, does the whole thing tank?
Well, you see, that will never happen because fortunately, my wonderful reindeer have been gifted with the same magic that is instilled in me, and so they cannot die. In a certain sense, they already have.
Right.
And they
right.
Wait a
like
minute.
myself,
like him.
they have moved on to the next plane of existence that grants us immortality.
Sure. All right, that makes sense. Tom, you had a question.
Yeah, so Santa, I've always been curious for whatever reason, but Rudolph's nose, A-rated, how many hours until it has to get changed in terms of the illumination of the nose? Is it like a Philips, Alexa smart control? Like what is going on?
There's not a time limit, thankfully, on that, but it can be affected by his health. More so, I would say it's affected by his state of mind. So it's very important that he remain healthy and happy and peaceful, which comes naturally to reindeer anyway. But as I said, elf care is very important, and
right.
we encourage among elves and animals alike to take very good care of their mental state. Happiness is the most important thing, I think, really.
I'd agree
You
with that.
cannot be of service. You cannot give of yourself and your love and your talents to your best ability if you yourself are not happy. It's like the expression that you can't give from an empty cup, right?
Right.
Your cup must be full in order for you to pass on to other people.
That makes sense. That's why Joe's never here, because Joe's so miserable that he's
Exactly.
only here when he's
Trying to fill his cup.
Me being here is truly a Christmas miracle.
It really is.
It is.
No, but talking about noses, my favorite thing that you see Santa, you're portrayed in the media a lot. My favorite is when you rub the side of your nose. Is that a thing that you really do? That you rub the nose?
Well, so here's the thing. So the concept of me, the way that people understand me, has been is changed over the years and has been affected by certain individuals. Okay. Now, the illustrator Thomas Nast was the first person to really create this universal image of me as the kind of gnome-like little elf, with the red fur and the white beard. The contemporary image really comes from an illustrator for Coca-Cola with the red suit and the boots and the white beard and all of that. But it was Knickerbocker Holiday that was written about the Dutch traditions of me as Saint Nicholas when they first came over to the United States, particularly centered around the New York area. And that, amongst those stories and traditions, is where it was first noted on a number of occasions about me laying a finger aside of my nose and giving a nod and then going up the chimney. And so that's where it came from.
So so you're saying it's not really a thing that you do, it's a thing that's portrayed sometimes that you do?
It was something that was portrayed of me that I adapted to follow along with the
legend.
universal beliefs.
Sure,
yes.
Sure. I'm sure there's a lot of misconceptions like that are things that sort of go hand in hand with you choose to do, legendary, things like that.
Yes, indeed. So as I go and I travel from place to place, and over the years, things have changed in terms of what people believe of me, how I look, and what I do. And I'm easygoing, and I want to further their beliefs and to uphold their traditions. And so I adapt to what is passed on about me.
All right, you can't change up the image now. Mm-mm. Like if you did that beard, TMZ would come after you like real quick, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. No, I can't change the images as they exist now. I do literally change as I travel from country to country because depending on where I am, they see me differently. And so the way the magic works is I will appear to them as they would expect to see me.
Wow.
So interesting.
It's funny because I expect to see Joe at every podcast recording, but he's only here 1 in every 5.
No, that's really so interesting. But so you don't have an issue with like paparazzi or anything like that, like finding you. I mean, you're a pretty big name, but you can change it up.
They try. They certainly try, but they can't. They'll never get me.
That makes sense to me.
Santa,
Let me put it this way: if I don't want to be seen, I'm not.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
Santa, I have a left field question here. Changing gears for a sec. Has any actor who has portrayed Santa in the Hollywood films have contacted you or their agents and were like, "We need to do a character study"? And if so, who and were they a horror story?
They have tried to get a hold of me. I have learned over the years that one person or another was trying to track me down. But I really don't, this is a very, very rare exception. I really don't make contact very often.
No, but we appreciate it. Let me tell you something.
Oh, certainly. Certainly.
I mean, it's not lost on us how rare this opportunity is.
Right. We understand what we're getting.
And Tim Allen is here, and he's studying everything.
Tim Allen, right? Tim Allen is not hidden behind a microphone here.
I do really appreciate those movies. You know what really blew me away, and I'm not sure how there's one thing about that movie that they got right, that I don't know if one of my elves leaked the information. Like, I don't know where they got this information, but the one thing that movie got right was how I get into places that don't necessarily have a fireplace.
What?
You know that part of the movie where like a fireplace just appears?
Yep.
Right, yeah.
Or the one that appears gets bigger and changes its appearance, allowing me to enter. That is true. That is how I actually go from place to place and come down a chimney even when there isn't one. I have yet to figure out how they got that right, but they did.
So hold this sleigh, Santa, for a second. So if I wanted a fireplace in my house, and you came to visit and you made a fireplace, can I ask you to leave it, or do you have to bring it back?
No, he needs it for the next house.
I like the look of it.
Well, no, unfortunately, see, the magic only works while I'm there.
Oh.
And once my presence is gone, the magic is gone as well, except for the gifts that I've left behind.
So back
Which
to
are
my
the true
See,
presents?
I would have to part of my essence would have to be there all the time, basically generating the magic for that fireplace to be present. You see.
Beautiful.
Got it.
That makes sense. So you want to get into our last game?
Okay, yeah, Santa. So here's our final game. We know. Look, I've seen you at Macy's, so I don't know if you remember me, but I definitely met you. You must have to field a lot of gift requests when you do your appearances, like at Macy's or at other malls. And
of course,
we want to see how well you could navigate around the requests we're going to ask.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready? So maybe we could kind of role play at Santa. You could ask, we sit on your lap, you ask what we want, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm walking in. There you are. I sit down.
Oh, what have you been eating? You got so big.
Santa, aren't you going to ask me what I want instead of insulting me?
Well,
I have a thyroid condition, Santa. And also, can you get my parents back together?
There are some things that are beyond my powers, and some wishes that I cannot grant.
Oh, no.
I cannot make people fall in love, and I cannot make people fall back in love.
Or give the chimneys.
No, Tom. He's like a nice answer, Tom.
Or what?
He goes, or leave the chimneys. This guy. He's so selfish. This is, as you can see, Santa. This is a heavy run.
Yeah, this is a heavy run.
It's me.
Yeah, but that's a great answer.
That's a great answer.
Because what can you do? Okay, Santa. So it's me now. My dog cross the Rainbow Bridge, what can you do for me? I'm not gonna
I
say bring
am
him back.
so very sorry for your loss, and it is a heartbreaking thing. It feels empty because they take a part of us with them when they move on. But you must understand that your dog moved on because it was your dog's time, and your dog knew that. And that is something that cannot be undone once it has happened. There's no reversing that process. But what you should take comfort in is that your dog has joined the pure positive energy of the universe. Your dog is now with you always. And if you close your eyes and you reach out with your heart, you can feel him there. He is always with you, and he will always be with you, and you will meet him again someday when you join pure positive energy. Your dog will be there waiting for you.
I love that.
But I'm sorry, I cannot bring him back.
No, listen, I understand.
Danielle's crying.
That's great. That's a real answer. Thank you. Thank you, Santa.
That was beautiful.
That's great. Joe?
Here comes Joe.
Hit him with the next one.
He's a big boy. Get your lap ready.
Hi, Santa. Santa, it's been a hard Christmas. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I was waiting for you to comfort me.
Elaborate, Joe. No.
So all I really want for Christmas this year is for my parents to get back together.
No. You already asked that one.
Wait, we did?
Wait, didn't we do that
We
one?
only did two.
Of, Joe, you're on the third
and that was one
You're
of
the third
them.
one down.
Joe, what's wrong with you?
You want to pick another card there, Joe?
All right, Joe. Okay,
I
Joe.
stepped away for a second.
The best part about having Joe here is things that would otherwise be totally cut out. Joe, they stay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, Joe, let's ask a little bit more Joe-appropriate questions.
I see.
Okay, yes, please.
Santa, all I want for Christmas this year is to end the Middle Eastern conflict. Is there anything you can do?
You see, his family's there.
Yes. Well, that is a real that's a real pickle. That
It's a head
is,
scratcher.
and
Anybody want a head struck?
there's as I mentioned, it's a very similar situation to the parents getting back together. Unfortunately, changing someone's mind or changing someone's heart is a very, very difficult thing. And it's something that my magic has not been granted jurisdiction over. You see, you mortals have been granted free will, right? And so it is not to me to change your minds and to change your hearts. That is something that has to happen from within. Now, we can influence people, we can try, but that sort of change has to happen from within the individuals involved. If it were that easy, trust me, I would have made peace on Earth thousands of years ago.
I understand.
fair.
I understand, Santa. I'll just take a wooden horse instead. Can that be done?
That I can help you with.
There you go. All right. Only two more. Now Tom's got one. Tom, you want to ask Santa?
Remember, if you're just tuning in, Santa is fielding difficult gift requests.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, Santa. I have two requests. I'm being selfish. Sorry, Santa. First one. Is,
Nope, you only get one.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try to connect them. So.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Santa, you're so funny. So, I need a voodoo doll of everyone that's hurt me this year. What's the best you can do, and how intense can you make that doll?
Well, this is an easy request, see, because I will not grant any wish that involves causing others harm or pain.
But it brings peace.
You're gonna have trouble with my next one.
Okay, and I got one more, Santa. I'm sorry. This one's sad, but so my grandmother's house burnt down, and all that was left was a wall. Can you give her a chimney?
Tom wants that chimney so bad.
Well, I'm afraid I've already answered that. I'm not able to maintain the chimney while I'm not there.
And to be fair, Tom, if the house is just a wall, he can walk
I
around.
can't help her with that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you the last one. I want it to be known that this was meant to be Danielle's question to ask, but she's, as a conscientious objector, opted to not ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
Santa, I'm going to sit on your lap. Ugh. Okay. Santa. Oh, yeah, I know. I just want 4 more years of Donald Trump in the White House.
It looks like Santa has left.
Danielle wouldn't ask that one because she just so actively.
Would this be for comedic purposes? I don't really understand.
I'm just trying to see what you'd say. I mean, I don't know what I'd say. I'd say, get off my lap, kid.
I have a 2-part answer to this question. Part 1 relates back to a couple of answers that I've already given.
Sure.
Which is that I do not have the power over the free will of mortals to change your minds or to change your hearts, and so it is not something that is within my power to affect things like election results and politics.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that is the case. That is something that is left entirely to you and your people.
Right.
That being said, if I were to have that power and that ability, that is not a wish that I would grant.
Okay, good. That's a good answer.
If ever there was anyone at the top of my naughty list,
Right.
for pretty much his entire life,
Right.
it would be one Donald J. Trump.
He's a coal getter.
He's a coal getter. That's right.
I'm not doing coal anymore.
No.
What?
No, I don't do coal anymore. You see, that it is not. It's not good for the planet to be dealing in coal anymore. But there is an overabundance because of the bovine population.
Sure.
There's an overabundance of manure on the planet.
Pies, cow pies.
And so now I'm substituting that in place of coal. And if I were to be delivering all the manure that is due to the White House this year, I would have to set up an Alaskan pipeline to get that amount of
That's intense, but I like it.
bovine droppings.
I like it.
Washington D.C.
Excellent. Well, let's get on to something positive as we wrap up here. We've joked around and we've asked you for things that none of us want. But I mean, maybe the Middle Eastern conflict. I'd be okay if that ended. That's fine. But you have a thing that I know that you do sometimes. That you have a list. You check it twice. You find out who's naughty and nice.
Yeah.
Let's assume we're all nice. You should, in theory, know what we want, right? Like if I asked you, okay, can you tell each of us what it is that we want that you're going to bring us for Christmas, or that you know that we want for Christmas? Like, what does Joe? If I ask you, what does Joe want for Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course I can. Well, let me see. Now, Joe would like a new job.
Oh, that's right.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What about Frank?
Well, Frank, now this is something that I can't bring.
Oh,
But what Frank really wants is more rest.
that's
Oh.
true. I literally want that.
Yes.
What does Tom want?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Tom would like better equipment.
Yes.
Yes.
And a
That's-
chimney.
Oh, it's so good.
And a chimney. We knew that.
What about me?
Well, let me see here.
Mine stopped.
Now, originally I would have said that you wanted more listeners.
Well, you're helping me with that now.
But I know that in your heart of hearts, what you really want, but you're afraid to admit,
That's true.
is a lifetime supply of Chobani yogurt.
That's true. That's
What?
very true.
That is so true.
He knew it's what I want.
Wait, Santa, bonus question. What flavor?
Oh, any of them. I'll take whatever, Santa. And lastly, what does Danielle want for Christmas?
Well, if she's good between now and the 25th, I can promise that Peloton bike will be under the tree on Christmas
Wow. I'm
be,
so jealous.
She wants to be like the girl in the ad.
I'm so jealous.
I wanted that for 2 years.
morning. Is that right?
Yeah.
Santa, he sees you when you're sleeping.
Yeah, what's up with
What's
that?
up with that?
My-
Controversial line.
what
for
am I
sure.
doing while I'm sleeping? You can take a break.
Is that Donner?
No.
Donner?
Sonny,
That's Sonny.
it's okay.
Oh, the reindeer are
I
getting
know
crazy.
it's just a reindeer. He's always yelling at those reindeer.
That's
Come
okay.
on now.
So, Santa, my last question, the very last question I want to close off here is, what do you want for Christmas? How often do you get asked that? Probably not that often. So, I'm all ears.
I actually get asked that question more often than you think.
Wow, I guess I'm a terrible interviewer then.
Children don't get the credit for being as thoughtful as they are.
Right.
And so that is a question that comes up. I want people to be kinder to one another. I want people to be more patient, more open-minded, more open-hearted, more giving, and in general, just to be kinder to each other. That's what I
That's a
would
great answer.
wish for.
I think we'd all kind of wish for that.
Yeah.
Do you and Mrs. Claus exchange or not? Are you do you refrain from giving material things because that's basically all you deal with all year?
It depends. Sometimes we still exchange material things because we do try to fulfill each other's wishes, and we're still of a mortal ilk, if you will, and so there are still things that come up in that category. But we also we like to do things like arrange for experiences, things that we can do together, and trips, places we can go, and things to see and do, shows and all kinds of things. But yes, we do still exchange
That's
gifts.
very nice. And I think this year she might want a Peloton bike.
That's right.
No, I don't think so.
Well, everybody, let's just go around the room real quick. Everybody say something. What would you like to say to Santa, and then we'll close out. Joe.
Santa, I just want to wish you a happy Merry Christmas.
Wow, that's not how anyone says that. That was great, Joe. A happy Merry Day, Christ.
That's
like
all
that.
right.
And-
I like that too.
I appreciate the sentiment, and I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thank
as
you.
well.
And if you have any openings, please let me know.
It's a lot. You'd have to relocate it. It's very cold up here.
And I'm pretty sure you have to die first, Joe.
Sounds like
That sounds like.
Well, not necessarily,
Oh, okay.
but I really don't have any regular mortals working with me up here.
yeah.
So
Another job to get turned away from.
keep getting turned away, Joe. Tom, would you like to say anything?
but you can fill out an application and
Apply online.
On Indeed.
Find him on LinkedIn.
there you go.
Well, I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast and given us some really, really sweet and pleasant responses. And I want to thank you and your whole team and your wife and your reindeers and everyone a very Merry Christmas. And thank you for just crushing my dream of not getting that chimney. Okay, thank you.
Oh, there you go.
You're welcome.
Danielle, would you like to say anything?
I love you, Santa, very much, and I'm very thankful for all the work that you do.
Well, thank you. So I love you too, Danielle, as I love all the children of the world. Thank you very much.
Santa, it's Frank. I just want to thank you for the keyboard you gave me when I was like 11, and I thought it was going to be at my parents' house, and then I didn't see it, and I was very sad, but it was at my grandma's house. So you
Surprise!
That was it. So thank you. You pulled a fast one on me, but I loved it.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I like to do that sometimes. Keep them guessing.
Yes.
That's it. Yes. And so lastly, I would just want to say again, thank you. This has been fantastic. Good luck out there tonight.
Yeah.
You know, watch out for geese and things that are up there in the sky. And I think it's honorable what you do. And you are, Santa, I think, a true definition of a somebody.
Yes.
Here amongst us nobodies.
Well
Oh,
said.
well, you're not nobodies to me.
Well, thank you for that. Let's all just say a good Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas! And to all, a good night.
You've been listening to the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, a cool side production, hosted by John Panepinto and Frank Caiati, with contributors Matt Hunt, Joe Hagopian, and me, Danielle Rose Fisher, and engineered by Tom Zaccheo. Find us online at nothing-podcast.com, and be sure to rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are distributed.